Welcome to the Sales Influence Podcast, where we talk about finding the why in how people buy. I'm your host, Victor Antonio. Thank you for joining me. Super excited to have you with me. Thank you for lending me your ears. Anyway, I'm reading this book by Daniel Pink called When. It's all about timing, how timing is everything and everything is timing. And in the book, Daniel Pink shares a study that I want to share with you, and then I'm going to tie it back to how it applies to you. Now, I want you to think about this number. On Twitter today, there are 6,000 tweets per second being posted. 6,000 tweets per second being posted online. So two Cornell sociologists, Macy and Golder, decided to do this study. And the study was to basically analyze 2 years' worth of tweets. And in those 2 years, they collected 500 million tweets based on 2.4 million users over 84 countries in a 2-year time span. And what they were looking is they wanted to analyze sentiment, do a sentiment analysis. In other words, how positive or negative were these tweets during these 2 years during that time frame, right? Again, 5 million tweets were analyzed. 2.4 million users were studied, 84 countries included. And they used something called the linguistic inquiry and word count to actually, again, determine the sentiment of the actual tweet. Was it positive or was it negative? Bear with me, I'm going somewhere. Trust me. And when they looked at the data, when they finally calculated everything out, here's what they found. When they looked at a timeline, what they found is that from 5 a.m. to 8 a.m., the tweets were very positive. In other words, they were very feel-good. Positive between 5 a.m. to 8 a.m., very positive. And they peaked around 8 a.m. Now, around the peak of 8 a.m., they started to decline slowly. From 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., it started dipping dramatically. And then around 5 p.m., it started turning back up, and all the way through 11 p.m., it got positive again. Let me give you those time slots again. From 5 a.m. to 8 a.m., it was very positive. From 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., it just went negative, reaching its lowest point at about 5 o'clock. How ironic when you look at the work world. Now, at 5 p.m. to 11 p.m., it just started moving all the way up, reaching its new peak at 11 p.m. So the two positive sides, 5 a.m. to 5 a.m. to 8 a.m., and then 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. were very positive. But everything between 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., things began to go negative. Now, they started looking at this, and they drew several conclusions, and some of them are intuitively obvious. In the morning, when we wake up, the majority of us are early birds, right? We get up early. We don't have a problem with it. We're feeling pretty good. We're feeling refreshed, good to go. Let's start the day and maybe jump online, look at social media, and check out some tweets, maybe even respond to these tweets, right? So we feel good. But now, what happens after 8 a.m.? 5 a.m. to 8 a.m., we're feeling good. What happens after 8 a.m.? Well, the slow creep of work actually kicks in. The hard work kicks in. What's fascinating is the time slot. Now, the 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., you see the drop. And what happens is, especially around 2 p.m., 3 p.m., and 4 p.m., you really start to see a very steep drop in sentiment. And what's happening is people are going negative, and it could be because of several things. One is they're getting tired. We as human beings, we get tired. Most people don't realize that your brain, for example, is 2% of your body weight. On average, it's 2% of your body weight. But it also consumes 20% of your energy. Now think about that. Your brain, you don't have to be doing anything active, but your brain will consume 20% of your energy. You ever have one of those days where you didn't really do anything physical, you didn't exert yourself, but it was a long day and you get home and you're just mentally tired? That's because your brain was working on overdrive. And so think about it. As the day wears on, our brain becomes fatigued. That's the word I want you to capture, fatigued. And when our brain becomes fatigued, all of a sudden we get less patient. We're less tolerant. We even use bad or sloppy logic. We don't make the best decisions. So during that time frame, your emotion is very low, very negative rather. Now, 5 p.m. to 11 p.m., you just kick right back up. Again, maybe after 5 p.m., you're driving home, you're past traffic, whatever it may be, but really it peaks at around 11 p.m., which means you catch your second win. Now, what are some takeaways with this that we can use in the world of business, more specifically selling and marketing? 1, we now know, if you believe this study, which I do, people's moods fluctuate depending on how much they're doing, right? And it fluctuates all day. And because it's fluctuating, it also impacts what they're consuming, what they're reading, and also what they're contributing, what they're responding to. The best times to post something is when people are in a high receptive state, and that is between 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. That's the best time to post or engage with people online. And then the evening hours, 5 p.m. to 11 p.m., those are the 2 times where people are more receptive to your information, your, let's say, branding, product, content, whatever you may have online, or just your opinions in general. So keep that in mind. Now, this also may apply to other platforms. This is what's interesting. This study was just done on Twitter, but I gotta believe, I have no proof of this. This is pure conjecture, hypothetical. I think it's anecdotal. Here's what I think. You can generalize this study and go on other social media platforms, and you'll probably find similar results. So if you use platforms like Facebook, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Instagram, whatever it may be, whatever the flavor of the social media day is today, guess what? It'll probably apply the same way. So what should you do with this content? Well, again, let me repeat. If we know that the high receptivity rate, people are receptive to what you're offering or what you're saying, is between 5 a.m. and 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. and 11 p.m., that's the best time to probably organize our post, to put something online so people can receive them and maybe consume them in a very positive state. So again, a simple tip that may get you more traffic, maybe more conversations, more engagements online with potential customers. So keep that in mind, and that is it for this Sales Influence Podcast. As always, don't forget to leave me some feedback on iTunes, Stitchers, or YouTube. Hey, there's an idea, YouTube. I wonder if on YouTube I should actually analyze my own data. I probably get more positive statements in the morning and in the evening, and you guys kill me in the middle of the day. But that's okay. Anyway, that said, check out my online sales training platform, the Sales Velocity Academy. You know the deal. We're adding courses every month. It's growing. If you want to sell more faster, go to salesvelocityacademy.com. Lastly, I want to thank you for listening. This is Victor Antonio, always reminding you, selling ain't hard when you know how. Take care. Hi, I'm Victor Antonio. I'm an author, sales trainer, and keynote speaker. I'm often asked, what makes a great speaker? Is it someone who delivers real content that the audience can use? Is it someone who engages the audience so they're part of the learning experience? Or is it someone who can motivate an audience to push them beyond their comfort zone and discover new abilities? The answer is yes. But the most important thing to remember is that I'm not there to look good. I'm there to make my client look good. Simply put, it's never about me, and it's always about them.